Everyone worries about drugs and arrests, but jobs and old jobs can eliminate applicants, and they do every single year. Let's discuss a little bit more about this. Kicking it off, the big thing that everyone is going to look at is patterns. Patterns are going to matter more than just one mistake. One bad employer usually isn't the issue. If you're going through and you have one bad employer in the past, especially if it's after my golden year of 7, usually you can articulate that pretty well. Once again, if it's less than that, not the end of the world. But if it's your most recent employer, the reason for the determination is definitely going to speak to whether or not they move forward with you. If it's attendance, like a repeat attendance issue, cool. That's going to have probably some articulation that's going to need to be done. If it's discipline, that's going to be another one, right? So if you got in trouble for something that really got in your way, something that uh, you just completely did wrong, and the worst part is it's going to be your word versus the employer's word. But I'll get to why it's not the end of the world. But if you did honestly do something wrong and it led to some type of disciplinary action, it's going to have a factor. Another quick little caveat, quitting becomes a pattern too. If you quit a lot of jobs, especially within a year mark or less than 2 year mark, that that's going to be brought up. It's not necessarily going to disqualify you, but it is a pattern that they're going to want to ask, because the last thing they want to do is get you into the academy or get you hired as a police officer, and then you decide, hey, it's not for me. I'm not going to touch it. I want nothing to do with it. And then we just invested hundreds of thousands of dollars into you, into your hiring, into your training, for you to just walk away from the profession and leave that department kind of high and dry and need to redo the whole process all over again. Investigators, when they're reviewing your employment background, they're looking for, once again, that predictive future behavior, but also they want to see, was there anything that repeated in the past that could be a negative. Be careful, right? Make sure you articulate something. Don't give me your perspective. If you left a job without notice when you were younger, just say that. Say, hey, I was immature and it was just, you know, it was just one of those factors that I should have done better. I don't regret leaving that job. I felt that that job and its managers were actually a poor place to work. My personal opinion. However, I should have at least given notice, and that is just a ding that I just have to accept. And I've grown and learned from it. Understand integrity is going to beat perfection. That doesn't mean you want to just go in there and just word vomit everywhere. No, articulation matters. Be specific, don't elaborate. You're going to hear me say this all the time, especially if you're new to this channel and you're just now watching this as the first video. Go back and watch the thousands of other videos. I'm sure it's so redundant and it's literally become the channel motto at this point. But integrity, we're looking for integrity. Most applicants get in trouble, they'll try to hide this. Maybe they've been terminated, or maybe they'll try to legalese their way out of this. What I mean by legalese your way out of this, I'm saying like, oh, well, I actually resigned, but it was a resignation in lieu of termination, and there's actually a checkbox to mark for that a lot of times. Or you will say, hey, yes, no, I wasn't terminated, I did resign, but you'll leave off the disciplinary action that was leading to a potential termination, and you just resigned beforehand. And once again, they're going to ask you why you resigned, so keep that in mind. Um, was not the right fit, bad supervisor, not really great answers, just so you know. I wouldn't put them, right? Uh, got an offer with ABC Industries for better employment or better compensation, better answer. Just to give you some coaching right now. Think about it like that. But going in, integrity, make sure you're not omitting any jobs. If they see that you've omitted any jobs on your, I'm more talking on your background packet, not necessarily your resume, unless they specifically tell you to provide a resume with all your past employment. But I'm talking on your background packet. If you've omitted any jobs, real quick, if this part of the hiring process is stressing you out or making you feel overwhelmed, we have some resources down in the description for you. The Getting Started Workshop is going to walk you through this phase of the hiring process and every other phase of the hiring process. In addition, if you want to jump on a coaching call with one of the instructors, including myself, you'll find that down in the description as well. Let's jump back into it. Just because you even think they weren't relevant, it's not going to fly. Oh, but I had that job. and I was 16 years old and I only had it for a summer. Great. If they say, hey, list all employment all the way back to 16, then list that job. If you don't have all that information, try to acquire it. But just saying, hey, I was 16, I'm 26 now, or I'm 36 now, or 46, or even 56. I don't care. Try to get that information and try to list what you can, even if that organization isn't around anymore. Because the last thing you want to do is go in there and then they start harping on, you omitted this job, or why didn't you list this job, or why'd you omit certain information? Why don't I have a contact number, an email, former supervisor? You need to be able to articulate and explain, hey, I can't recall, I looked up the past, I did as much research as I could, shy of hiring a background investigator. This is all the information I could come up with. I've looked, and once again, I've provided you a number that says it's the job, but they were unable to provide me any additional information because they don't have those records anymore, what have you. But you want to list everything you can about your previous employment and all your employment. If it finds out that you didn't list a job at 16 and you were terminated from that job, even though you're 56 or 46 or what have you, and you're thinking it's not a big deal, yeah, it's not a big deal until you leave it off. And then you leave it off, and that's omitting. And that's immediate character issues and an immediate fail. And the one thing that's going to happen or could happen from this is they're not going to say, hey, you omitted a job at 16, which doesn't sound too bad, right? Especially if you're 36, 46, 56, whatever. But what they are going to say to the next department that calls them and says, hey, we see that, John Smith applied to you. He didn't move forward. It stopped at your background. What happened? Let me look at the file. Oh, yeah. He omitted critical information from his background packet. That's what they're going to say. And, the other department left listening to what them say that it was critical. And they just deemed it as critical because you were terminated, and it appears that you tried to hide that termination when you really thought it didn't matter at all, right? Omitting jobs, especially if you had a negative impact on those jobs, bad choice. It's going to come back to bite you. I promise you. Don't do it. Changing dates can be worse. Let me be specific. If you don't remember the exact date that you started the job when you were 16 or 20 or what have you, if it's within reason, like, hey, that job was 5-10 years ago, I can't really remember my official start date to the day, that's fine, but you should be able to narrow it down to the month. A little tip that I just picked up on is sometimes when you pull your credit report, your full credit report and everything like that, it has previous employers. I know when we run individuals' public information or their background reviews, when we run background reviews, a lot of times if it's publicly and it's released, we get access to that, and it has projected dates of start and end. So that's a win. That's a starting point. You don't have to say, hey, yes, it was September 15th of 2007 that I worked from here to here, and I left on June 29 of 2016. No, if you just say, hey, September of 2000 and, 7 or what have you, whatever I said, to June of 2016, that's fine. And even if you have to put a day, then put the first of the month for one and the first of the month of the other if you don't know it. And then you can inform your background investigator when you sit down, hey, I believe the months are right, but those are approximate start dates just because I couldn't recall the exact date and I couldn't find that information after multiple times of trying to recover it. Excellent. You could go from there. That's acceptable. But when you just don't even try and you say, whatever, I think it was September, maybe it was December, but you just throw September on there that you started working there because it lines up with your previous job, and here's the big one. Here's why people do this. Because in there it will say, hey, show us any gaps of unemployment. And you don't want to show 4 months of unemployment. So you started a job in December of one year, but you stopped working your previous job of September of that year. And you know that it looks bad to show gaps of unemployment. What looks worse is lying about it and putting those dates together rather than just saying, hey, what happened with, why were you unemployed here? Just say, hey, yeah, at this point in time, I had actually left this position And then I was searching for a new position before I found this one. So all throughout that time, I was searching for this position. And they might ask a follow-up question. Well, how did you make your financial means? And at that point in time, and you could just say whatever it was. Hey, I had savings that I relied on, family that was able to assist me at that point in time, a working spouse, what have you. Just keep that in mind. But don't omit anything, and don't try to change the dates. It usually makes the problem worse. Just own it, explain it, show growth from it. Even if it was a termination, right? Explain what it was. Now, don't go in and say, hey, my supervisor said I was being terminated for this, but then your official termination paperwork does not say that, because the facts are what matter. If you had a contentious relationship with your supervisor and they were, you're getting fired because of poor work performance, and you are just the worst worker, and I can't even believe we hired you, and I'm pretty sure you were stealing. And don't put that down as termination reason. If your termination says, employee terminated during probationary period due to not meeting sales quota, that was your reason for termination, right? Whatever was in your official termination correspondence, not with some perspective of someone that might have a bias against you. Stick to the facts. Always present the facts as facts. Leave perspective, yours and others, out of it, right? The only time you would ever give perspective is if a official or authorized individual actually asks you, hey, can you give me your perspective, or can you give me your point of view for this situation? And then you can do it, but always do it as the humble professional. Don't just try to throw people under the bus and drive over them to make yourself look better. It's not going to work out too well for you. What employers really say about you is actually only in your benefit. Here's what I mean, is if an employer says good things about you, a previous employer says good things about you, it's great. We like it. Excellent. It gives us the warm and fuzzies. If they don't say good things about you, we still take it with a grain of salt, because we know if everything was so copacetic, right, then you probably would have stayed there, right? If they were paying you enough, if it was the right distance to your home, if you had the benefits you needed, whatever reason you decided to leave, if you weren't relocating, anything, right? We understand that even if it's a termination, we understand, like, hey, this individual, we terminated them just because they just couldn't get right. They, by the way, never earned that nickname in the academy. It'd be a bad day for it. But they come in and say, oh yeah, this was a horrible employee. They just could not get right, couldn't catch on. I don't know how they would be as a police officer, because they just could not follow direction. Okay, well, I see they were terminated. What was the official cause of termination? Here's the big thing when it comes to like real employment organizations. When I say real, I mean employment organizations that have good HR teams, good legal teams, things along those lines, is a lot of times they won't disclose any of that out of fear of getting sued for slander or libel, right? They're not going to sit here and say, oh yeah, give their perspective. Yeah, they were a horrible, can't get right person. No, they're going to say, hey, per our policy, all I can tell you is, yes, that individual did work here from this date to this date. They're no longer employed. Sometimes they won't even give your resignation or termination status. So once again, works in your favor. But even if they did, even if they said, hey, we don't care, we're Joe Smo, and I want to badmouth this candidate, we're going to take that with a grain of salt. Okay, so they just couldn't get right. What was the deal? What was the official termination cost? And if they're willing to tell us, yeah, we terminated them because of sales quota. They weren't making their sales quota. They couldn't wrap their head around sales. They were horrible. Well, okay, shy of trying to sell someone into a pair of handcuffs, which you will be doing as a law enforcement officer, right? It's better to talk someone into handcuffs rather than having to use physical restraint. But instead of doing that, it's not really, I don't care if you can sell a car or sell a TV or sell electronics or whatever it is that they were trying to get you to meet a sales quota for. Appliances, it doesn't matter, right? If that's what they say, yeah, we terminated them because they couldn't meet a sales quota, and we, once again, investigate, they'll investigate all the background investigators, we'll try to pull out the facts of the situation. then we're going to look at that and be like, I wouldn't want to work for you either. Look at just how you're talking right now about a former employee. It's nothing professional. I can see why someone wouldn't want to work for you. And while even working for you, they might have had a rough time. Know that. Know that if they leave you a good review, it's a win for you. If they leave you a bad review, it's not going to be the end of the world. We're actually going to look into it more. And on top of it, if they're a legitimate company and they understand, employment law and everything along those lines, and they don't want to slander you or libel, they're probably just going to stick with this individual was an employee here. They're no longer an employee here at this time. They were employed from date X to date Y. And that's it. And that's what you have to go on. So that's in your advantage too. Be mindful. Be mindful that you need to go into this. Be honest. Have everything together. Yeah. Worry about your other hurdles. Have you ever, had detained by police? Have you ever had a situation where you've experimented with minor substances or something like that? Yeah, of course those are hurdles. Everyone knows those are hurdles. You're going to have to explain them. But don't sleep on this one right here, employment. Your core four, your background, your criminal history, your substance use, your work history, and then your credit history / financial history. So keep that in mind. Key takeaways from this. Police departments don't expect perfection. They want honesty, and they want to make sure that they don't find something before you disclose it to them. If they do, you're literally playing with fire, and you're flipping a coin with your hiring process. You want to beat them to the punch. You want to get out there. You want to articulate yourself and articulate the facts of the situation before anything. But if you do have anything like that, once again, be honest. Take accountability. Just take the gut punch. Show growth. Prove to them that you've changed, right? And then your actions since then have not been consistent with any of that if you actually had messed up in the past. But yeah, that's it. That's employment in a nutshell. That's how you would go through it. Don't try to hide anything. You got this. If you like this video, go watch the next one. We have a bunch of them out there covering every different topic. Stay safe, and I'll see you next time.